That's bad, and I'm gonna fix it. This is the Hoof GP, and that is an extremely long foot. So as a comparison exercise, just look at the difference in length between that hoof and the nozzle. Twisted and gnarly, look at that step. It's curving over like this, and she's standing terribly on it. In fact, I'll drop it back down so you can see.
These are heifers, which are basically adolescent cows, and they've just been bought in as a job lot.
And back up.
The farm that I'm at actually bought every animal from the farm in question. The farm in question is going out of dairying, and some of these cows are in need of a little TLC. As you can see, her feet are extremely overgrown, but this one in particular is not actually all that problematic, although there is something lurking underneath that hoof horn. Imagine the discomfort this heifer must have felt having to walk around in shoes or hooves like this. They were all twisted and completely unbalanced. Imagine if your shoes were on sideways and one was bigger than the other and one was at the wrong angle. You wouldn't exactly enjoy your day now, would you? All it's taking from us here is a few short minutes to get her back to having comfortable footwear. But as you can see now, she has actually got a small problem in her white line. That's mostly bruising, which did start to bleed, but after applying a little pressure, you can see it's now stopped. Anyway, let's get this foot back to perfection, or as near as we can, and see how it sits on the floor. The black paddle on the back of the crush is fantastic for keeping the feet still, but sometimes it can give a false sense of balance, which is why sometimes I'll drop it out of the way and manually check that they are actually balanced and correct. This inner foot does have some bruising, so we're going to trim away and not apply a block so that we don't overload that area and cause a problem there. Having said that though, this outer or lateral claw clearly has a problem in the white line area. So let's finish the trim, get our foot on the floor and see how it's looking before we decide what to do. I'm sure you'll agree there's more than a slight difference, although the one on the right, the aftershot, is still definitely not perfect, and she does have that problem on the outer claw, right there. So I wouldn't be happy leaving this cow as she is and letting her go. So we're going to apply a block to that inside claw using BoviBond, as always, and that will lift up the sore affected claw completely off the ground. Once this wooden block has worn away completely, that outer claw should have completely healed and this cow will have made a full recovery. Unfortunately, I lost the footage of when we put our foot back on the ground, which clearly showed how well it lifted it off the ground. That sounds like a lie, but trust me, it's not, and I'm more gutted about it than you are. Anyway, we're using a block, so we might as well lower the heel of that outer claw, as it's not going to be touching the ground anyway, and it will give it a little bit more relief. Give it a little spray of oxytetracycline, and that is her ready to rock and roll. And that leads us nicely into the most abrupt ending of any video I've ever created.